hear us all right, can you?
I am so, mate.
Spot on, we're in. How you doing, mate, anyway?
I'm champion, mate. How are you?
Class, mate, couldn't be better. Yeah, excited to have you on, mate. Been meaning to do this a while with you.
Aye, definitely.
So, just wanted to talk about your journey, really, how you've, how you changed your lifestyle, how you feel now, all the exciting things you do now. Basically, that's what I wanted to go over. Your side of the story. I'm going to share the screen, mate. Can you see what I'm showing you right now? Can you see my screen?
Aye.
Yeah, there we go. So I just wanted to get your photo, the transformation photo that I posted up the other day.
Aye, yeah.
Yeah, just as a visual that you can see. So basically, the question I want to ask you: how did you feel at the first picture? What was what was your life like, and what was your daily habits like? Where was your attention at? What was your lifestyle like before this? The photo on the right. What's the differences in Kieran?
I was just stumbling through life, to be honest. Looking at that other photo there, I just looked depressed. I was depressed, constantly anxious and that.
Yeah.
I was in a terrible state. Not even just mentally, more than physically. And physically, I'm not even in a good place.
Yeah.
But shortly after that, I suffered like a mental breakdown, and that's the worst I was at mentally, and that's when the change started.
Yeah.
Went and got some help from the doctors. They gave us antidepressants, but I set myself at that time was the best thing I could have set myself. Was if I wanted help from them, I therefore should be able to help myself. So that's when it started. That's when it kind of ignited fire in us. And so I got Paul Mort's book. Got the audio book. What's it called? Can you swear on this? Effing Unstoppable, if you can.
I was going to mention Paul one of this in this because he's one of my who I look up to as well, and obviously you've read his book and think it's life changing. And it makes you think, doesn't it? That's one of the questions I was going to ask you actually, Kieran. What was the point where you thought, I've had enough of living my life like this. I need to do something to change that. What was the point for you?
It was when I it was kind of hit rock bottom, and it was kind of the thoughts I was having going down the kind of suicidal route, and that wasn't me. And I thought, that's a time because I was quite strong, so I would always put me I'm stronger than this, I'm stronger than this. So for years I was like that, and I was getting through it, but I had I had nothing in place. I was just holding on to memories of the past, which I now know is a thing not wanting to do, not what to do. I was living by what happened by kind of traumas and bad moments and that. And so I kept on revisiting, and that's why I kind of got to that point. But then when I started educating myself and I started start making progress after I started doing my goals and start taking action, like Paul said, so my life changed. Yeah. When everything started getting better,
Oh, honestly, mate, I was in a similar situation. Obviously, the variables between how I was kind of in a bad place and you were in a bad place are totally different because we're two totally different people. But the feeling was the same. That feeling of I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know why I feel like this. And you ask those questions, and for a while you don't accept responsibility for it. You kind of just think this is the way it is, and then you get down and down. You think of those negative thoughts like you said, but there is a point, and that point is the most powerful point that you'll ever have in your life. That point where you realize that you are in control and you do have a responsibility for what actions you do in this world and what things you think about and what behaviors you believe. You know what I mean? So that point for me was just I was sick of feeling miserable. You know what I mean? I was depressed. My life wasn't going the way I wanted to, but I kind of just accepted it. You know what I mean? I just thought, well, I was waiting for something to happen almost, and I realized that day wasn't coming. And that day when I realized that, my life just changed because I realized it's down to me. And I think you had a similar experience as well, didn't you?
They say change happens in a moment. People say, I was changing over the course of so long. And I used to think that, but I reckon there's just that one initial point where you say, right, I can't take this no more. I'm going to change. Then from that point, that the thing starts spiraling, and then now it's just a way of life for me, and which it kind of should be. I couldn't imagine not having a plan anymore. Couldn't imagine not just having my stuff my cold showers and just my routine and stuff.
Yeah. And
just keeping on top of because the progress was happiness, doesn't it? And I can't imagine how I could make myself happy with. I didn't what must have made myself happy. I don't know what was making us happy. Probably focusing on materialistic things to make us happy, which never do.
That was the same for me, mate. Same for me. When I was really down in the dumps, I was a competitive bodybuilder. That was me fucking life. To be honest, looking back now, I only used the whole bodybuilding thing as a distraction to run away from my problems because I didn't have anything else. And I felt that was like part of my identity, but in the end, I realized I wasn't liking it anymore. Abusing my body, put my mind through hell to be able to look this way, like you said, a materialistic look. I mean, it doesn't get much more materialistic than wanting to be ripped on stage in a fucking thong. You know what I mean?
Was it for you or was it for other people, Sam?
To be honest, for other people, I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was for me, but like I said, I was kidding myself. It was this like hole I felt like I trapped myself in because I had to show off like how I looked. You know, that was part of my personality. Or Sam's a bodybuilder. You know, he's big, he's muscular, he's ripped. You know, all that shit. That was kind of my personality. And then the whole putting it on social media put so much pressure on to look a certain way. And in the end, I'm not even doing it for me anymore. I'm doing it for a look to get likes on social media, and it kind of, you know, took the carpet out underneath us, so to speak. And that's when I felt really lost. But you know, I think it's similar to you. It's like you had, it was like you realize your whole life and all the things you think about and do was for other external things, and you have to reach that rock bottom point to get that. You know?
Definitely. But then, but it's like I'm looking at another pair of eyes now. Like honestly, how I feel now, it's like I'm blessed to be given kind of like another chance. It was down to me. I put in the work, but now like how I feel now, it's unbelievable, you know.
I know, but I think we can both agree, and we've talked about this before, the most powerful point in your life is when you accept, like, this is how bad it feels. You know, I'm at rock bottom, and you've got two choices. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people that go the other way and they never accept responsibility, and that can lead to even worse things. But if you do decide to take responsibility and think, you know what, I don't deserve to feel this way, and I'm going to start creating happiness myself, when you get that, life changes, doesn't it?
You don't even have to feel rock bottom.
It's
like,
not.
You can if you're like kind of happier now and you think I could do things a little bit better, you definitely can do things better. Like if you're not educating yourself and if you're kind of not going in the unknown and putting yourself out there and kind of putting yourself out there to kind of putting to fail, or that's when you learn stuff about yourself and that, you know, putting yourself in the unknown.
Yeah, your mistakes and even your traumas of the past, they are what you need to set you off on the right path.
Oh, definitely. Find your own purpose.
Instead of getting down about it, and you know, a lot of people get wrapped up in their own thoughts and think, oh, I didn't do so well here, or I failed this, or you know, this bad things happened to us. And just constantly focus on that. If you're going to get the emotions to go with that, but if you can think, right, okay, this happened, but what was the reason? How can I change that to make my life better? So now if I fuck up at work or with a client or make mistakes in my life, I have me 5 minutes like everyone does where you moan and think it's not fair. And then I think, right, how can I correct that then? How can I correct that? Because it's down to me, you know, and that makes you powerful, you know. So we've explained this before, like, I feel like I've helped you obviously get in shape, like off those photos, but you also created this higher level of mindset outside, you know, that you did yourself, and that's powerful. So
that mindset made me come to you. It's because like I was getting a handle on things, put myself out there with me boxing and stuff, and I was like, right, how can I be better? And I was like, well, I'm not nailing my food, so I need someone to give us help. And like a lot of people sometimes think about the money that I could just do it myself, but are you going to do it yourself, and are you going to hold yourself accountable when you've got someone to answer to in the weekend saying, right, Kieran, how are you feeling? And like you can kind of sugarcoat it on yourself, but when you're answering to someone, you're like, yeah, I'm answering to him on Saturday, so I'm going to be the best version I can be. That's definitely how I look at it.
The power of accountability. I mean, I'm a coach and I've got a coach, you know what I mean? I've got a coach who tells me things to do and sets me targets because I need that. I think everyone needs that presence in their life that can help them, you know, and push them, like you said. But
the best people have got coaches, like the top coaches in the world have got coaches.
I know the power of coaching is unbelievable, you know, because you can have this mindset that me and you have where we're very motivated and inspired and in touch with our own emotions. But a part of that powerful mindset is also accepting that you are going to have days where you may fuck up, and you're going to have days where you have to ask for help on the outside.
Got to be coachable, Sam. Yeah. You've got to be coachable. You've got to be coachable. It's one of them things. A lot of people can't be told nothing. Like, so some people, when I've tried to help, and you're like, I'm just trying to help. Do you know what I mean? Like, just take on what I'm saying, and like some people, if they're not coming up with it, they won't listen. And I think that comes with being in a survival state when they only focus on themselves. But when I turned around, like, well, I'm going to take information off anyone I can, then have a look at it. Then that's when my life got better, you know. When I start looking at like all the different, like you've got people who are kind of experts in their own little field. So if you can look around everyone, Paul says in his book Mirror Successful People, if you take a little bit from everyone, then you're going to be the perfect package. And the only thing what's happened is you've learned of people who's already been there and done it. So like they kind of know it works. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to go and figure it out yourself. You can just say, right, what's he doing? I want to be better in, like, say, nutrition. Well, go to Sam. He knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? Want to be better mindset, go to Paul more. Do you know what I mean? That's just people around our end, but there's countless people out there. Even free as well. Most of it's free.
There's loads of power of the internet, mate. You know, how can anyone not learn and develop themselves during this time? We've got fucking internet for free. We've got books for free. We've got everything out there in order to explore your mind and develop yourself further. But I think you made a good point there where you say you reach out to people and you try and help them. I've obviously experienced this as a coach. I've coached hundreds of people. Sometimes you can be putting advice out there and giving people help and they just don't want it. They'll say, like you say, I don't want to listen. No, that's not for me. And that's cool. That's just the way of them making themselves feel better because they don't quite understand that right now. It's not a bad thing. Like you said, they might not be coachable as of yet. They're just doing whatever they think to make themselves feel better, and that's totally cool. But back to the books that you mentioned. I know you mentioned Paul's book, but what else are you reading right now that is helping you explore your mind further?
I've got one here, Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. That's like changed me. But like I never before, I used to I had like a limiting belief that I couldn't read. Like I could read, but like I couldn't, like I wouldn't read a book, and like especially not a long one like that.
A year ago, I would have took the piss out of anyone for reading a book. I read every day now. You know what I mean? The power, it's so powerful, so powerful.
Mate, how much you feel unbelievable. Like you feel like every time you get better, your brain gets better every time. Like I read 2 sentences, and I would have to start at the top. But then because I kept on going, now I can like fly through. Thing is wrong. I'm a genius at reading. I still forget most of it. That's why I've got to sometimes go back because it's not all gonna stick, is it? But you'll get a few key points out of it. But like I'm 3/4 of the way through this, and like I like a 400-page book, and I never thought I'd see the day, mate.
Oh no, to be honest, mate, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the kind of person who can sit there and read for hours. I'm not. I do 10 minutes on a morning as part of my morning ritual. Then I do some later on. But I haven't read that book that you're reading, but I've heard of it. What's the title of it again?
Becoming Supernatural.
Becoming Supernatural.
But it's kind of like neuroscience, so we learn about your brain. So I got obsessed with my brain. I wanted to know why I was feeling the way I was, and like what was causing it. So that's why I went down like the neuroscience sort of thing, and it's like a little bit of quantum physics as well. So it like messes about with the energy in the universe and stuff.
That sounds powerful. I'll have to check that out.
Mate, it is powerful. It really is powerful. It changed my life. Not just that book, the doctor who thinks it changed my life. Got so clear on my thoughts and that the thoughts signal to the body to create the emotion, then the emotion creates more of the thought. So I'm thinking, right, so if I'm thinking fearful thoughts, that's telling my body to be more fearful. And the fear of my body is telling me mind to think more fearful thoughts. So no wonder I was in a state of stress all the time.
I know.
You know what I mean? But just a little bit of education like that, like
crazy.
A thing like that changed my life.
Yeah, and this is where you'll probably relate from that first picture when you were in that place where you weren't happy with the way you looked, the way you felt, your mindset, your mental health. Anytime something negative would happen, and I was the same, you would just let it consume you, and that's why you felt down. That's why you felt miserable. It wasn't necessarily because of the traumas that were going on. It was just your perception of it.
Definitely.
Allowing that to just totally fuel yourself, and you hit the nail on the head. When you think about negative things and you put focus on them, you are literally allowing your brain to chemically react and create this. You know what I mean? Like I know people hate it when you say this and they get triggered by it, but you know, anxiety, depression, any negative thoughts, a lot of the time they are created by the individual.
Of course, just like joy and gratitude, just like happiness.
I know.
You can't have one without the other. Do you know what I mean? Like where attention goes, energy flows. So if what you focus on, you get, innit? So like if you're focusing on being better, if you're focusing on positive emotions, so you're not going to get them all the time because your mind's still trained, like mine was, to be negative. So that negative does come in. I just choose not to listen to it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And when you do put yourself, go on.
How long do you think it took you to go from that where you were right there a couple of years ago to where you are now in terms of
July was when I first started. So what one now? We're like we're in April. So honestly, I got put on antidepressants, right, and I come off them within 10 days. So it's hard to say, right, but I felt that confident after 10 days. Now that's not to say I knew everything that I know now, but I knew something was happening. Do you know what I mean? I knew I felt better, but I just didn't know how. So now I kind of, over that time, I've tested it and kind of know the reasons. But back then, I just didn't know why I was feeling that way. So I couldn't really say how long, but it's just the constant work over months. Like it just, I got better and better, and I got more educated on it. You know, start putting it into action. Which is like you see that you can know it all, but if you don't do it, pointless.
Yeah, exactly. And you even know now, even though how far you came and where you are now, you're still looking to develop yourself further, because that horizon, it's constantly moving. You know what I mean? I can check in with myself on a day and be like, right, I feel 10 out of 10 today. I feel 10 out of 10 physically and financially. I feel 10 out of 10 in my relationship. I feel 10 out of 10 in my fitness. But I'm like, that isn't the be all and end all. What's next? You know what I mean? And like you said as well, you're not going to be like that every day. Being powerful and having this self-awareness is also being aware that you're not going to be motivated every day. You're not going to be inspired every day, but you're also aware that you can create it through an action. That's
definitely.
How I feel right now. And what
I feel is, when I don't feel like that, I've done something wrong that's got us like that. So then I'll look back and go, like just Sunday, like I felt terrible Sunday, and I'll say, well, I've had 2 days, I'm eating crap food, I haven't really exercised, I've been on my Xbox all day. So then I look back and go, well, that's the reason. It's not because I'm feeling like anything other reason that I just didn't look after myself as good as I did, say, today or yesterday or the previous weeks, you know, when I'm really on the game. So I know when I'm slipping now. Not to say I'm perfect all the time, but I know when I'm slipping.
It's amazing when you have that sense. It isn't really powerful. It makes you feel powerful as fuck. And when you know that you're not going to kid yourself to think, I'm going to be motivated every day, everything's perfect, the world's perfect. You've got this positive outlook on life, but you're also very slap bang in the middle, certain with your own emotions, and you know that something bad can happen that can affect your state and affect your mood, whether that's another person, a situation, or one of your own actions. But you know that you have the power to basically pull yourself out of that fairly instantly, really. Let's face it, it takes pretty instantly, isn't it? I can create energy on tap. You know what I mean? We mentioned before the cold shower thing. You know, tell us, you got me out of those a few months ago. Tell us about your experience with the cold showers.
It came about us one night when I was looking at stuff on the internet, Wim Hof, and I looked at, I thought,
Wim Hof, Iceman, cool as fuck, isn't he?
Iceman. I was trying to at that time, like you say, I was constantly trying to seek discomfort daily, and I thought that's probably the best thing I could do daily, to seek this discomfort. Go in there and like after the first one, but what I did notice was how hot it was and how much my mind didn't like it. So I knew by doing it, I would grow. So that's why I've done it. But now I've done it that much, so now I can just get in and out like it's a hot one. That's because
what are you on now? What are you on? 2 minutes? 2 minute cold showers?
Around, I don't normally time them. I just stay in kind of till I want to, really. But it's definitely, it's not like I'll get in there, I can't wait to get out. Like I'm all right now. But that being said, that took a while for it to become a habit. Now I notice it's a habit that I've got, and it wasn't like when I was getting up for 5 for work, and the first thing I do is get in a cold shower. Like I certainly didn't want to do it, but that's what it's worked wonders for us, and the energy when you get out, you feel like another person.
Oh God,
when you get out.
the energy. Yeah, if you wake up in the morning, you feel a little bit groggy, you feel like you want to go back to bed. You jump in a cold shower, even for 20 seconds, you're not tired anymore.
No way.
You're not tired. That's powerful.
It is. It's like a little life hack. But only thing you've got to do is seek a little bit of discomfort for a minute or two. Then you rest of your day is flying.
And you know the big thing, the big insight I found from it, I've only started doing them about 2 months, and I have a past with anxiety, and I know you have too. I used to have anxiety attacks 3 years ago, almost every night, where I almost couldn't sleep alone. And the physical feeling that I used to get was obviously rapid heart rate, breathing, going to shit, and that was exactly the same as when I stepped in the cold shower for the first time. Yeah, that's how I felt. You know, when you know, if you've had bad anxiety attacks, that feeling you get when you just like, you know, just fear and pain, and like shit, you kind of catch me breath, and you know the physical symptoms of it when your thoughts are racing. Obviously, I didn't have racing thoughts in the shower, and I wasn't having an anxiety attack, but the physical feeling of like, whoa,
like shock,
it felt the same, and I was like, wow, if I discovered cold showers when I used to have anxiety attacks, I could have trained to have an anxiety attack, and I could have managed the symptoms, because at first you can't catch your breath, can you? Especially that out breath. So I was like, you know, gasping. But then after you practice, you know, the third, the fourth time, you're able to control your breathing and bring yourself back. So that, like, to me, that physically represented what an actual anxiety attack felt like physically, not obviously not emotionally, but physically it was the same. So imagine if you could train yourself doing that. If you were ever feeling anxious, you know, you'd be able to actually train your breathing to calm yourself down. You know what I mean? So that was the powerful insight I took for people who suffer with anxiety and anxiety attacks. If you ever felt anxious, and you immediately jumped in the cold shower, I guarantee you wouldn't have a fucking anxiety attack anymore.
Stop feeling fear.
You're not thinking about the anxiety anymore. You think about how fucking cold this is, and I've got to get my breath back. You know what I mean? You can't be doing two things at once. So
tried to like, go on. Me come to mates have tried, and they're like, "How are you doing that?" I'm like, "Yeah, look, it's not for the faint heart, like, but if you get stuck into it, you'll feel the benefits." But and it boosts the immune system, which is kind of alright at this current time, and
exactly.
like people are looking for it at the time. Drinking Actimels and that, and getting the cold shower.
Exactly, it's insane the benefits of that. I'm on 1 minute now, and the jump between 30 seconds to 1 minute, I think it was actually easier to do a minute than 30 seconds when I first started. Yeah, because I tried a minute the first time I ever did it, and that killed us. Like I couldn't catch my breath for 10 minutes. So I knocked it down to 30 seconds. I nailed that for a month, and now I'm building it up 5 seconds a week. I'm on a minute now, so we'll just keep on going.
Yeah, getting there. So, you're getting there. I've done 101 this year, mate.
101 cold showers.
I'm just looking on my board. Yeah, I've got a little whiteboard in my room. I 101, and I must have done probably about that last year now. So, I'm well into it, like.
That's one thing I wanted to go on to, the goal setting that you're setting yourself in different areas of your life. What are your current goals and outcomes for this next phase of your life? So obviously cold showers, what's the other stuff?
Cold showers fits into my morning routine, so I've got to hit 70 of them. So that's just kind of like my morning routine, cold shower, meditation, study, journal. Then I've got to watch, listen to 12 sales and marketing podcasts. 12 self-development podcasts, because I want to get educated, because I'm going to be PT like next year, so I want education before I even step into it, trying to prepare myself. 12 boxing sessions, 20 weight training.
I'm on your Instagram now, Kieran, just so you can see. There's your boxing and that stuff. When was this ago? How long ago was that?
This was November. What I did that for, I did that because I had a massive amount of anxiety around boxing, and when I sat there and I thought, right, how can what's the biggest thing I can like kind of conquer to create confidence for myself? I thought boxing. Put myself massively in the unknown, and last time it was like a charity one, so I just went back to boxing first, and I went back 4 weeks, and I got a text at work, do you want to fight? And like everything in my mind said no, like Dane, like you're not ready, you've only been back 4 weeks. I couldn't even like spar past one round, that's how unfit I was. But then that savage mindset kind of went, do it. That's the exact reason to do it, because you will get ready. Do you know what I mean? So then that's how I led on to it.
You've just said a crucial point there, which I want to go over. You wanted to create that confidence, and you had anxiety around that subject. So you knew if you wanted to create confidence, the only way you were going to beat that is by doing it. And that's the thing I tell a lot of my coaching clients inside of my programs. Everyone goes on about, I've got low confidence. I can't do this because of my confidence. I want to achieve this and I want to have that, but I've got no confidence. You know, it's always a drawback and a barrier as to why people can't achieve anything. And if you have low confidence, that's totally cool. You're not meant to be super confident and you know, have a high level of inspiration all the time. You know, you're human, you have emotions, you have negative emotions and positive emotions. Sometimes people are low confident. I used to be low in confidence, but I figured it out pretty early that if I want to feel confident, you've just got to do the thing. You get confidence by doing the work. And you probably remember.
Definitely, that's exactly what it is.
I remember this when I was at university and I had to do a seminar in front of like hundreds of people in my class, and I was shitting it. And I was completely shitting it. And when I did it, it was still hard. But after it, I thought like, I wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And I felt a bit more confident. You know, so I apply like almost like a theory to my life now. If something that makes us feel uncomfortable or anxious, I think, God, that's a bit pushing us out of my comfort zone. But if I actually want to get the reward emotionally of feeling confident, you've just got to do the thing. So if you want to create confidence, just do something that you've never done before. It's pretty simple. It's not definitely, but it's simple. Like, how can you not agree with that? That is a simple formula. If you want to create more confidence, just do something that you've never really done before that pushes you out of your comfort zone a little bit. Get that right. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Just like I said before, every single emotion is created through your own actions and beliefs.
Oh, definitely.
You know, so you get.
But how you feel when you come out of that? That's why I did, but I'm a different person now after that, like completely, and I knew that. That's why I did it. As much as like I had like the training come up with it. Honestly, I was ill for 2-3 weeks. Then just before the fight, I was ill. I got sent home from work on the Thursday and Friday. Cancelled it on the Friday, and I thought, this is my fight back from like my depression and where I was. So even if I get knocked out, even if I can't make it, I'm going in there. Do you know what I mean? Me getting in there was beating it. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't the fact that did I get the win, did I thingy, like it was just getting in there, getting out there to get what I said I was going to do. And then when I come out of it, I'm a different person, and that's how the momentum will build.
You just said something else that's powerful as well, mate. Do what you said you were going to do. That's a massive one. That is probably one of the reasons, one of the main factors as to why I was in a bad place, mentally, with depression and anxiety, because I set myself these targets and I used to run away from them. I used to justify it with whatever reason. Oh, this person said that I can't do it. This reason, that reason, I can't do it. And it would just lower me state. It would make us feel depressed because I wasn't doing what I said I was going to do. And you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to other people. You can lie on social media. You can lie to your mom. You can lie to your dad. You can lie to your girlfriend. Oh, well, I couldn't do that because of this. But deep down, did you do what you said you were going to do? And if you did, you feel good. And if you don't, you feel down. I think people out there who are just going through life and not doing what they said they were going to do, and it lowers their state. It's so much easier to create depression.
Definitely. That's the reason for the planners, isn't it? That's when you look at yourself daily, and you when even just little wins like that, there's no way you would have counted, like, unless you were planning and in your journal and you plan anything. Well, I feel good about it. Day to day was a success, and the next day is better than the next day. But if you kind of go through, and your brain will look at the negative stuff, if you if you don't do that one thing that you said you're going to do, or a couple of things, it will look at that. Do you know what I mean? When you are creating wins every day,
I know that's the way to look at it. Once you've got a clear cut plan of what you need to do, even if you do fail, you know where to go from there. So it's great.
And you win or learn.
I know you win or learn, mate. There's no such thing as failure. You only fail if you give up, but if you do, you just win or learn.
That's it.
There's some more photos of your progress over the last few months physically. So, what was your training schedule looking like to basically go from that photo there to this one over the last, was it 12 weeks? So obviously you were following a diet that I'd tailor-made for you with the macros and things. So that was pretty consistent. What was your training schedule? Because I know you did weights, but that wasn't your priority, was it?
I only went to the gym a couple of times on the weekend, to be honest, and done a few weight training sessions from home. But basically boxing and running. And bike riding, because I like to try to keep it enjoyable as possible, because then it feels like I'm not training.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the way the bike ride, like the long 30-mile bike rides and that I do. I enjoy that. When I'm going with my mates and we're going somewhere, it just feels like a day of fun, not exercise.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you signed back up with me and you told us about your training program, I just said, mate, do what you're willing to do. Do what you enjoy. Fat loss is fat loss. It's calories in, calories out. All the weight training, will it get you better physical results as far as your body composition? Potentially, yes. But if you're not willing to do it, why would you try and force yourself to do something you hate? I didn't have time for that. Exactly. So when you said, I'm doing boxing, I'm doing bike rides, I said, mate, just go for it. As long as you stick with those macros and those diets, you will get the fat loss results you need. So that's great. They're
the things that pushed me out of my comfort zone the most. That's why I kind of formed around them. Like you say, I think I seen on your story when the running, like that's tough. That like running.
Yeah, I done mine last night. I got challenged for one of the 5Ks, and I thought, well. I was out on the phone to my dad actually before, I said, because I'm stopping at my girlfriend's house now, and I was like, where should I go, man? Whiteley's to do a 5K. What would be the best route? And he was like, you've never ran since you played football when I was 18. I'm 25 now, so not 10 years, but 7 or 8 years. Fucking hell, you're right. I was like, right, I'll do a smaller one first. I've done a 3K last night, and
it's tough, isn't it?
It's weird to explain. It kicked me arse and I was knackered. It was harder than I thought, but I did better than I thought, if that makes sense. It was harder than I thought it would be, but I actually did better than I thought. It's weird, but I'm going to try a 4K tomorrow when my legs are not fucked. And I'm going to do a 5K on the weekend, but yeah.
I've got a 10K after this. I'm doing a 10K after this, 5K on Thursday, then I'm going to do a half marathon on Sunday.
You know what it is? That last night, right? That's exactly what I needed. I hate running. I hate it, right? But the feeling I got after the 10 minutes of when I got back in the house, I was nearly sick, to be honest. Like I felt nauseous. Once that passed, I felt a boost. I was like, whoa.
The runner's high, man.
I haven't been motivated to do any kind of exercises in the house, just like what you said before. If you're not willing to do that, you don't have to force yourself. So I needed something that was going to push us out of my comfort zone to get that benefit of that confidence I needed without trying to force myself. So I'm going to do a combination of runs or weights now. So it's something I want to build on.
It will certainly do that running. But and tell what, it's mad. Like your mind haunts you, and especially on the longer ones. Like the amount of times that my mind says you're not fit enough, your legs hurting, like stuff like that. You haven't got enough energy to get through this, but when you realise that's your mind trying to tell you can it, and when you put that to one side, you'll run. Like you'll go through a stage of like the first 4K in a long run, where like your mind's like that. Then after that, you'll just breeze through to like the last couple, and you think, like you're telling us that I couldn't before, and this is your mind. This like when you ignore that and just put it through, you don't know what's capable. It's unbelievable. And that's why the long ones, you learn loads on the long ones. Like, I thought I couldn't run for. Then my mate Alex, he'd be like, let's do 8K, let's do 10K, and I'm thinking like, but I wouldn't back down from a challenge, so that's why I was doing it. So and then I got better and better. Then next thing you know, on a Thursday night, we ran 13.1 mile, and I was like, I never thought I'd ever be able to do that. Just because pushing ourselves, and I was probably capable of more, but until you put yourself in a situation where you get dropped off at Roke and say, I'm running home.
I think that's what I need. That's what I need. And you get someone to drop us off in the car and say, just run home.
Oh, that's it. It's the only way you're getting home. And
exactly. That's a good point. That it's definitely something I want to develop further. But you brought on another good point there, Kieran, when you said you're running, right? And when you think about how hard it is, that's when you get the feeling that you can quit. It's your attention again. How powerful is that? Powerful where your attention at. You experience it in everyday life when, say, your trauma of the past, or you worry about the future, or you're focusing on a negative situation. You literally feel yourself lowering your state, lowering your positive emotions. You feel yourself becoming more negative, and you can apply that physically as well to running. If you sit and think when you're running, oh my God, my legs are killing, I can't do this. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to quit. You're going to feel like crap. But if you tell yourself, I'm not going to focus on that, you just plow through it using whatever mental tactic you can, whether it's your headphones, talking to someone, visualizing what you want to achieve from this, this pain that can fuel you. But if you allow your emotions to focus on this, I can't do it, you get the results from that. And that's the same with everyday life, isn't it?
It is. It's the how you feel, like you said before, how you feel when you finish the run and you know how hard it's been. Like asking anybody says how hard running is, but when you know you've put yourself through that pain and you've kind of won, creates great momentum. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you're like, well, I can do that again, and that's like say that applies to anything. But running's a real one where you're going like it's really tough. Like I was doing my boxing and everything. Like obviously boxing's not the easiest thing, but running's harder than boxing for me.
But it's you've got that mindset where you want to push, and you almost know that the pain you feel during that exercise is what's going to level you up.
It is.
Once you've got that mindset where you don't want to run away from pain, you actually embrace it. That's when your life just goes boom.
That's what's happened to me. Like that's literally what happened to me. Like I look like when we made texts what we're doing this week, I was like, especially today, I went just 5K the day. Went no 10. I'm like, well, how my mindset is like, I'm not going to say no, just 5. Like he's saying 10, I'm doing 10, and that's the kind of mindset I've got now. Like if whatever gets put in front of us, like just especially if someone else says it. I'm not shying away from it, and good mindset to have. But I've taught that to myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you teach yourself things about yourself and your emotions just by doing it, don't you? Just by not running away from it, just by seeing what happens and how do you learn from it. It doesn't go to plan. What can you do to make it better next time? So you constantly have to push yourself beyond your comfort zone and do a physical action to see where you're at physically and mentally. There is no way around that. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. They're just kind of waiting for their life to change and waiting for something to happen, waiting for their emotions to change, waiting for the depression to go. It's like, well, you need to do something, physically, physically to change that. How is your anxiety now? Do you suffer with it anymore, or is it pretty much under control?
I really get it. I would say, like, but if it is, it would be something that, like, say, when I'm about to go in the unknown, and that's when it would come, and that's when it's kind of meant to be there, because your brain and body knows, listen, I'm doing something we're not used to doing, So then that doubt comes. So I know why it's there. It's not like, oh, why am I feeling this way? It's like, well, now I'm about to do something I've never done before, but I can choose to listen to it or just get on with it and stay present. So I try to stay present. That being said, like, but if thing goes wrong, that's like kind of skill to do that, and it takes a while to get later.
You've got to
learn, I used to just listen to it and shy away from it and say, that's just that. Like, you've got to watch the story you tell yourself. You know what I mean? The story I should tell, like, that's what you get for your reality. And I used to tell myself a story like so much, like I wasn't worthy and like not as good as other people like this, and then that was just what I was making up myself. Then when I to kind of put that at the back and started creating what I wanted, and so I started feeling more confident. And now, like, I wrote down in Paul's book, like when he said, I think it was one thing, like, how would you want to feel at the end of this book? And it was like to be more confident. And when I put up my post out, like a part of it, like I wrote, I feel unstoppable. And that was a big thing for me, because from last July when I'm reading it, like hoping like this thing could fix us, to when I put that post out, it was like, right now I feel like an unstoppable man. It was a good feeling, though. I mean, like, see, you invest in the course when you feel like an unstoppable man. I never knew what it felt like when he was on about, but now I do. I can only get better if I continue doing the things I do. And I would advise anyone to go and see Paul. Like,
yeah, you crave that when you sort of experience that power, when you actually test yourself, do something, you get the emotional reward from it. You crave more, don't you? Because you understand how amazing it feels. It's what you've been looking for your whole life, isn't it? And I never had that before I kind of developed this mindset of pushing myself beyond my comfort zone and creating this disciplined area and not letting emotions get me down. Researching, reading, writing, and researching on a higher level how I can help benefit my life. You never had that power before because your attention was just on all the bullshit. The nights out, the drugs, the girls, all the crap away from what actually benefits your life. Is just about this whole materialistic rat race, if you like, that so many men and women as well, so many men, look, we can relate to men because we are men, so many lads are in this zone where they're out every weekend pissed, they're chasing girls, they're not exercising, they're eating rubbish, and they're gambling, you know what I mean? Like, all these aspects of your life all have an emotion, it's like a recipe book, all these recipes are getting thrown together, and the result is your emotions in your life. You have to look at your own actions and what you're doing and what you're thinking about. That's what creates the feeling you currently have. And that's something I never realized for a long time. When I was back 2-3 years ago, depressed and anxiety attacks, I just kind of accepted it and thought, well, it's not fair. Why do I feel like this? But when I realized by pushing myself, and forcing myself to learn, I think it was Jordan Peterson. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a video. He was explaining anxiety, and when that was the life-changing moment for me, when I heard him explain like anxiety is it affects people with a higher creative intellect.
That's why it's
when it's meant to be creating wonderful things, meant to be putting our attention on things that inspire them. When you are not, that creative flair, that creative streak, if you like, doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go. It stays there. It just creates other things. It creates other things, and it's your perception of where you're at that's where your creation will go. So if your perception is life is amazing, I can achieve anything I want, I'm going to create my own confidence, I'm going to create my emotions, that creative streak that's creating your anxiety will just shift and just power you through life.
When you start manifesting it, though, if you start believing it, you start manifesting it, things start coming in your life, and you think, like, just because of my positive outlook, think that if you think positive things generally happen, and that's kind of how it goes. Do you know what I mean?
People need to get that. Like, people need to get that. That's what's gonna change their life. It's that positive outlook, but also saying, what can I do physically, take an action to change that. And once I heard this video from Jordan Peterson, anxiety affects people with a high creative intellect, I asked myself this question: what the fuck have I created in my life? Nothing. Right, there's my problem. Start creating and you'll be all right. And I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet here, but 2 years ago I was unemployed, didn't have any clients, I had nothing, and now I've built a business from nothing. I've trained 500 people in 2 years. I had that inside of us. I just didn't know how to do it, and I was focused on the wrong things. So
probably fear of judgment as well, Sam, because that's a big thing with me as well. That's why a lot of people don't do stuff, don't put them Instagram stories on or whatever, because fear of judgment. Big thing with me, that as well. Thing I'm trying to be. I never used to post anything on Instagram for fear of judgment. Now I'm getting a little bit better, a lot better. But before, it used to be a big thing, like how people would judge. Now it doesn't matter what other people's opinions are, does it? You probably start creating, start and put stuff out there, see everything blossom, don't you?
I know, and that's the thing. I think so many of us are relying on other people's opinions and judgment of themselves to create the happiness they want. I mean, you probably know people personally, mate, like lads and lasses who whole happiness depends on what another person's perception is. It's fucking crazy. You're giving your emotions to someone else. You're giving them the power to make you feel the way you feel. But
I also get it because I used to as well. So I think it comes
very easy to do.
State they're in. Do you know what I mean?
Very easy to do.
I think it comes from how their mind is working. Do you know what I mean? How they get their kick, sort of thing, from their appreciation from other people. Do you know what I mean? But it's not the right way. It won't fulfill you, especially not for long.
I think social media is the main factor behind that.
Definitely. I deleted it for 6 months. Part of my journey was key. Key for us.
Do you reckon?
When I first started, key. just because I work on me. I could only speak to people wanted to speak to me. They would either get in touch with us or be my family or close people, and they kind of realise who's kind of there. Do you know what I mean? Then you can start building again, them close relationships, and not like there's a lot of people on the internet I had. Do you know what I mean? But how many were really thingy? Do you know what I mean? So when I did do that, then I've come back, I'm back on the social media with a different perspective on it, different outlook.
If I didn't have, you know, social media for my business and to connect with my clients, I would limit my use on it so much, because there's a lot of negative stuff out there. I mean, this coronavirus thing is it's exposed a lot of people's personalities. How many arguments have you seen on social media over the last couple of weeks? It's fucking insane. Debates about this, debates about that. I seen an argument on Twitter last night. It was about 30 comments, two people who I know, and I sat and looked at it and thought, like, what do you get out of that? Like, what do you get out of trying to be right? Like, trying to force your opinion on another person, and you're arguing. So what? You're just defending your beliefs. Can you not just accept that you've got that belief, I've got this belief? Just live your life, man. They've dragged themselves down to a low level through their own actions because they want to argue on social media. Like, what benefit has that got to your life? And so many people live their life on their phones. No wonder they're depressed. No wonder they're anxious.
Of course.
They live their life on their phones. That the value of other people's opinions of them, and that's what they base their emotions off. So many people could change their life in an instant if they stopped fucking giving a fuck about social media, how many likes they get, and how many people comment on their shit. You know, that was one of my big problems, caused a lot of anxiety. Post a photo on of, you know, bodybuilding and things, the way I looked, basically asking for people to judge you. You know what I mean? And then being worried about what they're saying. Fucking stupid, man. You know, the day I stopped doing that, my life changed.
Definitely, and it's just a perspective change, isn't it? Like, it literally changes. Like, that's just the way you look at something, and everything could change. Crazy.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up now because we've been on a while, mate. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was this is a lifestyle change, isn't it? This whole thing you've had, it's not just a diet change. It's just a
lifestyle.
And now you totally decided every aspect of your life needed to change, you know. So what was the key thing for you, if you were to say one thing that you had to change, one thing that was making you feel down, making you feel depressed, was feeling that anxiety? What was the one thing that you changed to get the results that you wanted?
Yeah, probably not to believe all my thoughts that's in my head.
Powerful.
Not all of them are true.
Thoughts are like clouds, mate. Tell you what, one thing I was going to show you my book. Have you read this book?
Oh no, but I got the audio book of Paul when I first did it. I didn't make it through though, to be fair. Good. It's good,
mate. I haven't read all of it because it's a bit hippie-ish for me. Girly. You read it and it's like masculinity a bit because you're thinking like, wow, listen to this old lady from America going about, you know, this and that. But what she says is very powerful, and I've watched some of our seminars on YouTube. Insane. It's all about those perceptions and believing your thoughts. And I think and this as well, your thoughts are just like clouds, you know, they just come. It's about how you package them up. You know what I mean?
When you start meditating, Sam, right, and you observe your thoughts, some thoughts that come in my head, I'm like, what the hell? Like, do you know what I mean? But before I would have like believed them. Do you know what I mean? And when like
you only experience pain and suffering and depression when you stop and think about your negative thoughts. You only experience anxiety when you stop and think about thoughts. You let them unravel. If you're physically doing something, or you're aware that your attention and where your thoughts are at, and if you're believing them or not. You know, like if you believe you are being hard done by, you believe the world is against you, you believe you are worthless, you believe you have no belief, you believe you have no confidence, you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Completely agree.
So instead of trying to argue with reality, can you not just change your thought process and understand that? I believe that thought. I can believe this other one.
Definitely.
People don't get that thoughts are just thoughts.
No.
You know, like, can you?
What's that, Sam? That broke up there. What was that?
Your dreams. You can't control your dreams. So why can't you accept? Like, everyone accepts that. Oh, I had a dream. It was mental. They're just like, oh yeah. When something happens in life, when they have a negative thought about themselves, or an opinion, or someone else's opinion of themselves, it's still the same thing. It's a thought.
It is. You just choose to believe it, man.
But people put power into that conscious thought. It totally fucks them over for the whole life. It's a thought, man. Like, what? To package it up in a different way. Don't kick off at the thought. Just package it up differently.
And get educated on what's happening in your head with the thoughts. Like, or educate yourself on that. And when you have awareness of it, that's half the battle. When you have awareness of your thoughts, you're aware like what's kind of going on because you've read it in the book or you've done a little bit learning on YouTube and that. And when it happens, you're like, oh, no, I'm not falling for that one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it comes from, the awareness.
That's where it is. These negative thoughts will never stop. Like you're gonna have. There's no positive without negative. Life is just life. You know. There's no. People say to me, Sam, you're such a positive person. You're such a motivated person. I'm like, yeah, I am. But you know what? I'm not one of these people who's just gonna go, oh, think of the positive. Think of the positive. I'm like, right. You have to think of that. But what are you actually gonna do? I'm very grounded. I'm just aware of everything. I'm aware that if I have thoughts, it'll make me feel like this. I'm aware that I have these thoughts, it'll make me feel like this. Which one do I want to do? I decide. I control this shit. I control the game. And so many people feel like they've got no control, but actually they are in a 100% control.
Definitely.
That this negativity creates inside your mind, but once you're aware of that, you're so powerful. You know, the day that you realize you are in control of the way you feel, wow.
Oh, definitely.
Wow, insane. Insane. Well, that was great, mate. We shared a lot there. Like, I'm really happy.
I enjoyed it, mate.
And we'll definitely catch up again soon. We'll see how you go with your progress. What are you mainly working on now before we go? What's your next what's the next step?
What in terms of
physically, mentally, emotionally? What's the next target you've set yourself? Like to push yourself out your comfort zone. What you're working on?
Well, I've got another 8-week plan with you, so that's like a little bit of a long term 2-month goal. So that's something to work on with that.
A little bit leaner if we can try and do that without your calories too much. Great.
But and I want to be back in the gym, but obviously it's kind of tough at the minute because we're on lockdown, so I can't really say where I'm gonna be and when I'm gonna be there. But if we're still in lockdown, it's gonna be running.
Weight, didn't you, this time? See if we can gain more muscle.
That's a plan. Yeah. That's a plan. I want to try and take that mindset into the gym. To go to failure and stuff like that and really work my muscles. That's what I'm kind of trying to do when I get back in the gym. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting in the gym. So that's a plan. Just keep working, keep growing.
That's it. But it just shows you this coronavirus thing hasn't affected me mentally, hasn't affected you mentally, has it?
Made me.
I'm so happy with how the last few weeks have went. Obviously, I am worried about the whole situation of the world, but I get that I can't control that, and I can only control my actions. But I've learned things about myself in the past 3-4 weeks that I needed to learn.
I see.
So once this is all over, I know for a fact I'm going to be a better person, a better version of me, and I think you know that too.
Definitely.
That's out there for everyone. That's just about a perception, you know. So it's great to see, you know, from the things that I post about on social media, the things that I'm trying to help people and inspire them to learn. And you're seeing it from one of my guys who's inside my program, such as you, who was took it to another level himself. You know, it's proof that this can be done. You know, this way of thinking, this way of living, it's right out there and anyone can have it.
Definitely, 100%, mate. Just takes a work.
Class, mate. Right, Kieran, I'm going to let you go, mate. Have a
nice one, mate.
I'll cheers. You, mate. Cheers for coming on the call.
Catch you, mate.
Cheers,